Hey everyone, how's it going? Azren here. Hope you guys are doing well today. As you guys can see, wearing my business clothes, looking a little bit fancier, a little bit sharper than I normally do. I'm actually in Austin, Texas right now, as you guys know, and we just finished our meetings for the day. And I thought I'd make a quick video before we all head out to eat some dinner. And today I want to talk about language learning in a classroom, because for anyone who has studied the language before or who is interested in the language learning space, well, you guys probably know that there's a lot of debate about how effective traditional classroom learning really is. And the fact of the matter is that, in my opinion, I think there's two sides of the coin. I think there's a part of me that thinks that classroom learning is a heck of a lot slower than some other methods or other strategies, right? I think classroom learning is boring sometimes. It's not overly engaging. I think classroom learning focuses too much on writing and too much on reading. And I think classroom learning, I think that it has a lot of faults. The other side of the coin, and this is something that's not talked about a lot, so I wanted to make a video to sort of add to this whole discussion a little bit, because there's a side that no one's talking about, which is that there's a lot of good that comes from classroom learning. I think classroom learning provides a level of depth in language learning that other programs don't necessarily, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I studied French and Spanish in university, and I even did all of my education in French. So from age of 5 to the age of, 18, all of my middle school, elementary school, high school, everything was in French. Meaning I've got a lot of depth to my French knowledge. There's a lot of skill that I have in French that really has only come with years and years and years and years of practice and learning and study. Literally study, reading and writing and reading literature, writing essays. And so I think that classroom, yes, it has a lot of things that are not great, right? I think I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. But there's a lot of elements to classroom learning that are amazing. Now, I think the key, however, is I don't think it's necessarily smart to rely only on classroom learning, right? I don't think that is a smart strategy, because if you are trying to become fluent in a language, and your strategy is to only take classes, well, now we're heading into some dangerous territory where I have to reorient you and say, hang on, stop. You can't only take classes and expect to become super fluent. And so I'm a big person in preaching practicality. I want you to be practical, and I want you to take an approach that has the highest likelihood of success. And in my experience, the best way to do that is, yes, to take classes because they're important. I think they can have tremendous value, but I think you need to start looking at other things too. You need to look at other options. You need to look at traveling to different countries where the language you're learning is the native language. You need to look at things like using italki, using things like meetup.com, right? And I think if you're layering classroom learning with other types of language learning, and you're attacking language learning with a whole bunch of different tools and strategies and resources, right now I think you've got a real winning shot, and that really increases your odds of becoming fluent, and really inclusive, and actually really, I think, speeds up the language learning process as well. And so overall, my perspective on this is that classroom language learning has a lot of downfalls. However, there's a lot of positives too, and I think a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people will tend to look at all the negatives and go, oh, classroom's not for me because it's boring, I don't like it, it's hard, blah, 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 blah. Or, I think there's a lot of people who do this too, a lot of people will look at only the positives. They'll say, oh, classroom's the best, that's the only way. And I think the black and white perspective on classroom learning is dangerous. I don't think it's smart. I think we need to approach it with more of a gray attitude, right? We need to look at it from something more in the middle and go, there's good and bad, and adjust based on your own self-awareness of where your skill sets are, what your preferences are, where you are in your language learning, right? To look at it and go, here's where I think I can use classroom learning, here's where I think I can use other types of learning, and you can make that call based on what's right for you as the individual, versus saying this is bad, this is good, and making those definitive statements. Anyway, hope you guys liked that video. I'm gonna go eat dinner. I'm very hungry. But yeah, talk to you guys later. Bye for now.